ASEAN Dailies. First and the foremost news from Southeast Asia.
Hi, this is Arlene, and of course you are listening to DurianASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing. Today we are bringing you news from Malaysia and Southeast Asia. Of course, on this beautiful Friday, it's the end of the week, and I'm sure a lot of you have plans for your weekend with your loved ones, family and friends. Just to start off with our news commentary today, we are going to bring you a very positive news from Malaysia. A Malaysian filmmaker, Indrani Kopal, she bagged an award at the Cannes Film Festival. It was a real honor for Malaysian filmmaker when she won the Best Student Documentary Award at the American Pavilion's Emerging Filmmaker Showcase in Cannes Film Festival on May 19th. Her documentary, The Game Changer, focused on how the dance instructor Susan Slotnick used dance as part of a rehabilitation program at a correctional facility in New York. And she also announced plans to produce The Incarcerated Rhythm, a sequel to The Game Changer. But at the same time, talking about The Game Changer, a 35-year-old former web producer, described her win as surreal in her Facebook posting. She also added that such a special evening. Thank you all for all the wishes, shares. I know this is a little too much. After Cannes, I promise I will go away quietly and hide from the news feed. Previously, The Game Changer has picked up an award for Best Short Documentary at the Harlem International Film Festival in New York. So, congratulations to Indrani Kopal. I think personally from DurianASEAN that it is really one step forward for a Malaysian filmmaker to make it in the big apple or the global world. Hopefully that she, and together with other Malaysians as well, we can somehow go beyond just our national border and do something great out there. So on another news, maybe not so positive compared to the previous one, will be regarding on Muhyiddin. Will he be urging Najib's sacking? So according to the news report that Deputy Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin has urged the sacking of 1MDB Berhad board of directors over the company's massive 42 billion ringgit debt. But will he also ask his boss, which is of course Najib, to step down? This was raised by, of course, by the opposition leader Lim Kit Siang, also the DAP chair, who questioned whether Muhyiddin was willing to do the same with Najib if it is being revealed that the Prime Minister was responsible for 1MDB debt fiasco. He added that would Muhyiddin propose the sacking of Najib as Prime Minister if Najib is responsible for all the major decisions taken by the 1MDB board in the 42 billion 1MDB scandal, he said in the statement today. Of course, whether Muhyiddin has made clear on his position in the cabinet is much to be discussed. When will Muhyiddin Yassin make a decision to resign from the cabinet as Deputy Prime Minister unless 1MDB board is sacked and the police call in to investigate the scandal? This was, of course, expressed by Lim Kit Siang. He also questioned other ministers in the cabinet that share the same position as Muhyiddin. So what we are seeing right now, the opposition is definitely pressing hard on the Malaysian government to somehow make a decision on the 1MDB scandal and the loss of a lot of money. But at the same time, looking at the 1MDB fiasco, I think it's important to move out, the sexy scandal, but to look at what is the economic cost to Malaysia on the company itself, and what should be the next step forward to ensure that such incident won't happen again. Anyway, according to Lim also, the whole situation is getting to be very farcical, if not for the brutal reality that it involves 42 ringgit billion of the Malaysian taxpayers' money, which makes sense. Malaysians have been paying a lot of money for our taxes, especially with the GST. So, we deserve to know where is our money and where has it gone. On the other hand, we also, talking about money, we also have news regarding on yesterday's tabling of the 11 Malaysia plan. So, according to the Rancangan Malaysia ke-11, or in English would be the 11 Malaysia plan, 5 major focus of the work ministry project to boost construction industry. Work Minister Datuk Sri Fadila Yusof in a statement said that the projects involve the construction of the largest access roads under the 11 Malaysia plan are expected to give positive impact to the people. The first projects are Pan Borneo Highway, Central Spine Road, Kota Baharu Kuala Kerai Highway, West Coast Highway, and the Pengeran Integrated Petroleum Complex Road Network. The 5 projects are the 5th of the 6 strategies focused under the 11 Malaysia plan, in which infrastructure development would be the major responsibility for the minister as the leader of the country's construction sector. The construction sector was crucial in driving national economic growth, seen from higher demand for modern and efficient infrastructure each year. This is reflected in the plan in line with the objective towards a developed nation. He said that the policy framework is aimed at strengthening the existing policy to reduce consumption of natural resources, reduce emission, waste, and other pollution to improve the quality of life. And of course, apart from that, the ministry will also ensure new government buildings will have green technology, design and features using environment-friendly construction materials based on the Works Department Green Rating Scheme, while existing buildings will be retrofitted in stages. He said one of the new focus is to ensure the durability of buildings for climate change threats as well as extreme weather. So when we talk about the 11 Malaysia plan, we are talking about Malaysia's focus 5 years from now, which would be in leading towards Wawasan 2020 or Vision 2020. What we are seeing right now, that the government is definitely putting a lot of its funding on building infrastructure, especially roads. And on the other hand, also a lot of focus on developing the connectivity in Malaysia to improvise it. And of course, to ensure that our future development will be based on sustainable development and reduction on pollutants. At the same time, even though a lot of the focus have been positive, there are some, a lot of Malaysians are still questioning whether the 11 Malaysia plan has the right focus for the next 5 years. That is left for us to judge as Malaysian. At DurianASEAN, we will bring you more analysis and discussion on the 11 Malaysia plan. On the other hand, we will take a short break. When we return, we will discuss about Myanmar and also other ASEAN countries, and of course not to forget the Rohingya crisis that is happening right now.
ASEAN Dailies. First and the foremost news from Southeast Asia.
Hi, this is Arlene and you're listening to DurianASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing. You're back with me again. So Myanmar has agreed to attend the May 29 talks together with Thailand to decide on the Rohingya migrants. Finally, they changed their mind. Isn't it a good thing? Hopefully. So what we are seeing right now is definitely Myanmar is being forced to the corner by ASEAN nation. They could have done this quite early on for Southeast Asia to push Myanmar to ensure that they are not violating any UN convention or any human rights principles. It is great that finally Southeast Asia is sticking out to its principles or its stance on what is the right thing, although the right thing can be very subjective, but what is the right thing for Southeast Asia to survive as an integrated regional organization. So Myanmar now has agreed to attend the talks on the issue of Rohingya migrants on May 29, even though they are pretty sensitive on using the word Rohingya. They would rather call them illegal immigrant. While Thailand is still on, I guess, on sitting down thinking whether they want to allow the boat people to come ashore or not after the meeting. General Prayut said that Thailand was a transit country for the boat people, and although it has more internal problems than others, it agreed for measures to be found to solve the problem. The meeting on Rohingya migrants hosted by Thailand will be attended by at least 18 countries, including Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, and Myanmar, and 3 other international organizations. Meanwhile, Myanmar Deputy Foreign Minister Tan Cho confirmed that the country will attend the meeting, although earlier there was a question mark over its presence because Myanmar does not consider the Rohingya, numbering over 1 million people in the country, as citizens, and of course call them the derogatory word, which is the Bengalis. But he insisted that Myanmar would only take them if they were Myanmar citizens, and the focus should be humanitarian, not political. I say the focus should be humanitarian first, but still, the internal politics of Myanmar will affect the whole of Southeast Asia. So like it or not, it has to be in both ways, working side by side together. I think ASEAN has no longer can afford to uphold the non-interference focus or policy. I think it's time for Southeast Asia to pick and choose issues that are overlapping, issues that are transboundaries, issues that can somehow affect other Southeast Asian countries as well. And on the other hand, we have news about the Southeast Asia migrant crisis. Foreign diplomats' coverage on the Burma. Foreign diplomats were covering on Burma on Thursday, seeking to discuss the ASEAN migrant crisis, which is widely believed to have its roots in the mass fleeing of the country's persecuted Rohingya minorities. Malaysia's and Indonesia's foreign affairs ministers, Anifa Aman and Retno Marsudi, were due in the capital, Naypyidaw, a day after the 2 countries agreed to provide temporary shelter for 7,000 migrants. Most of them are Bangladeshi and refugee Rohingyas, thought to be stranded at the sea. The offer was hailed as a breakthrough on the migrant crisis that has engulfed the region for the next 2 weeks. The U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Antony Blinken will also be in Burma and said during a visit to Jakarta on Wednesday that he would raise the treatment of the Muslim Rohingya in the western Rakhine state with the Burmese government. It's funny that the issue, it is weirdly funny that the issue of Rohingya has been going on and on since probably half a decade ago or a decade ago, but nothing has been done, surprisingly, by the international community. Only now, when the crisis itself has ballooned and burst and is affecting other countries in Southeast Asia on a mass scale that people are starting to question why the governments in Southeast Asia are not doing anything, why the international community are silencing on this. Instead, they focus a lot more on Burma's transition towards democracy, which is probably seen as a farce since nothing much has been done. Even things are getting worse in Rakhine State. If you look at a lot of the documentaries made by journalists and amateur reporters, you see that there's a clear separation between those who are Burmese and those who are Rohingya. They are being rounded out in camps, and they are remnants of their former villages, which were completely wiped out. So you see that people are being abused, and some activists say that it's a form of genocide that no one wants to talk about. It would probably be as worse as what happened during World War II, during the Nazi camps. So what we are seeing right now is definitely something that ASEAN needs to address on a massive scale. Anyway, we'll take another one short break. When we return, we will talk more about the ASEAN Economic Community and, of course, some political issue happening in Indonesia as well as in Cambodia.
ASEAN Dailies. First and the foremost news from Southeast Asia.
Hi, this is Arlene and welcome back to DurianASEAN. And of course, you are with me on the ASEAN Daily, talking about the ASEAN Economic Community. Local businesses to have new growth opportunity with ASEAN economic community itself. In fact, companies can benefit from reduced production costs with lowered barrier to trade and investment, and will be able to participate in sectors which were previously restricted. This is according to Singapore's Minister for Trade and Investment, Lim Hng Kiang. So, businesses will have new growth opportunity with the implementation of AEC by end of this year, but progress unfortunately remains slow in some areas of regional integration. Speaking at the ASEAN Conference 2015 on Wednesday, Minister for Trade and Industry Lim Hng Kiang said that overall outlook is bright, but cautious again over optimism at ASEAN is unlikely to fully achieve the AEC blueprint. Mr. Lim said that with lower barrier to trade and investment, local firms can benefit from the reduced production costs and will be able to participate in sectors which were previously restricted. And this is focusing more towards sectors such as healthcare and engineering consultancy. In welcoming foreign investment, ASEAN has also established stronger and pro-business rules to enhance protection for foreign investment in ASEAN. The ASEAN Comprehensive Investment Agreement will generate opportunities for investors through liberalization of various sectors, provide greater transparency on investment rules in ASEAN, and offer recourse to investors in times of conflict. This will enhance the confidence of Singaporeans investors as they expand regionally. Unfortunately, with the slow and in reducing non-tariff barriers, the liberalization of services trade within the region, and the ratification of the ASEAN Open Skies Agreement. He said removing barriers can increase investor confidence while making ASEAN more competitive. In today's competitive environment, ASEAN must enable foreign services providers to compete on the same footing as local companies. In this way, we will be able to strengthen investor confidence and attract more high-value investments into, of course, the region of Southeast Asia. ASEAN member states are undergoing reforms to improve ease of doing business. For example, Indonesia is restructuring its economy to reduce regulatory constraints while opening up the Batam, Bintan, Karimun region for investments. Well, Dr. Sofian A. Jalil, Indonesia's coordinating minister for economic affairs, expressed that they are assigning an international consultant to advise them on what kind of policy, what kind of industry, what kind of new initiative needs to be introduced to this area to make the BBK, or the Batam Bintan Karimun region, as vibrant as before, to make BBK as competitive as Iskandar region in Johor, in the other side of the straits. Now, they have a lot of ideas, but it will take time, of course. The consultant producing and presenting the consultant is producing and presenting the initial report. They believe a lot of opportunities need to be created, a lot of reforms need to be done, but they believe by doing so, we will see BBK become another special economic zone of Indonesia where people can do business and put investment and, of course, attract tourists. And what they are thinking is to create an international financial center. On the other hand, what we are seeing right now that by the Singapore Business Federation chairman Teo Seong Seng said that they've been holding seminars almost every 2 months to let SMEs understand and also engage Spring and IE to attend this seminar, the MTI, so that they can explain that to the SMEs, what are the areas to watch out for, because some of the countries' rules may not be the same as Singapore. Also, they will be organizing more trips overseas to ASEAN so that they can better understand the market and meet. So ASEAN as a whole has a combined GDP of more than 3 trillion Sing dollar. In 2013, the largest combined GDP in Asia, and this has been projected to grow by more than 5% yearly for the next 4 years. On the other hand, talking about Indonesia, during the National Awakening Day, demonstrations continue to demand Jokowi to step down. But I'm just wondering, isn't it too much to ask him to step down, or too early? He was just elected last year. He came into office in October last year, and it's barely a year, but people are already asking him to step down. So more than 500 demonstrators took part in street rallies in Jakarta to commemorate the National Awakening Day. On the same day, smaller demonstrations were held in several other cities. In Jakarta, the protesters, mostly university students, gathered in front of the State Palace. They demand President Jokowi to step down on grounds that he and his administrations had failed to perform. They are disappointed with Jokowi's administration, said one of the activists during the demonstration. They also burned tires. A number of workers joined them in the rallies. Indonesia has been an independent nation for 69 years, but in reality, our independence values remain far away from what we have felt. Joko Widodo has served as our president for more than 100 days. He has been doing many things, but the changes that he has promised has not yet been achieved. This was expressed by Anggia Ramadan, coordinator of the demonstration. So in today's street rallies, about 1,000 university students, which has take place according to according to Andi Aulia Rahman, also the coordinator of the University of Indonesia's BEM. And on Thursday, the demonstration is mainly meant to commemorate the country's reformation, which emerged 17 years ago. So I personally think that it's a bit too much to ask him to step down, but it's great that the students and the younger generations are doing the check and balance towards the President of Indonesia. I think it's important for the President to listen to the voices on the ground, on the grassroots. It's important for people to voice out their concern. But at the same time, I think he needs more time to do more reforms, and with that, more time to somehow perform. I guess give him another 4 more years until his term ends, then you ask him to step down by your vote. On the other hand, we have news in Cambodia. A report highlights fears of impending cyber law in Cambodia. The Cambodian government is drafting laws to curb the cybercrime and govern telecommunications, but critics worry these laws will clamp down on the few opportunities for free speech in the country. And the internet, social media, and mobile devices have all allowed a space for expression that has been unprecedented in the country. Conversations about poverty, deforestation, and land grabs are free from government controls. The threat to Cambodia's newfound internet freedom, the rights for group Licardo said that the new laws, if passed, would expand governmental authority in cyberspace and curb those freedoms, potentially by going after service providers. So freedom of expression is a right that many Cambodians have never truly experienced, and this was expressed by San Ant, technical coordinator of Licardo. And it came as no surprise that as soon as Cambodians found ways to have their voices heard, the government has begun a comprehensive effort to once again silence them. The Cambodian government spokesman Pierre Sipan said that the Licardo reports does not reflect the government's intent. The cybercrime law is meant to crack down on hackers, not on ordinary users. So they might have to choose internet freedom or laws to curb cybercrime that might overlap their freedom of expression, or can both exist? Of course, both can exist. A lot of emerging and developed countries have expressed their freedom of expression on the major scale, but at the same time they have laws that curb cybercrime. I think the cybercrime law has to be really tailored towards curbing real crimes, not curbing the voices of the people or the freedom for people to have their political expression being aired. So at the same time, I think it's important for us to focus on good cybercrimes law that really curb the crime itself, not on curtailing freedom of expressions. So for Cambodia, of course, it's still a long way to go for the government to realize and differentiate this. Anyway, that's all from me today. Of course, I hope that you enjoy our ASEAN Daily. We will continue next week, Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock in the morning. And of course, you can always listen to us via your mobile by downloading the TuneIn app and search for DurianASEAN. And of course, and engage with us on social media. We are in Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and of course YouTube as well, by listening to our podcast, our daily podcast. That's all for me today. Thank you.